CBA.
No.
I'll come back a minute later. We got it all loosened up now.
Okay.
Good old wire.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. We put our offer in yesterday, so next steps will be 4 o'clock today. The realtor's presenting it.
There you go. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Hopefully that all goes through. Hey, Mike, how's it
Claire.
going? We had a charming morning. We had poo in the powder room, the living room, the sewing room, the kitchen.
Not all puppies, I hope.
No, the
Just
puppies
all the-
never, ever poo inside, ever. The only
No.
time they've ever pooped inside was the one time when, I think it was when you guys were here. I can't remember if it was you or Winnie, and Pink pooped inside just because they've been in for so long. No, they never poo overnight. They always wait. They're amazing.
Amazing.
That's crazy. That's great.
Yes, no, they're waiting until they go home and then they're going to start.
Be a
And
disaster. Yeah.
They have never, ever once pooed inside. Never. And they, you know, they pee, but not very much. And once they get into sleeping overnight in their crate, they'll be totally fine. They'll be able to go for probably, they're so tiny. They don't even weigh 5 pounds. They're, hi, Joya. They were, so Lola was 2.14. So she's 4.7 pounds. So she'll probably be like just around 5 when she goes home. Your food box
Okay.
will be this big.
Yeah.
It's-
Little plump thing.
they don't eat a lot. They're good
Yeah.
at eating. And Pom Pom's a little bit better at eating than Lola is, but marginally. Lola just gets distracted more readily. And is always like, what's happening over there? What's going on? Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
And who's doing what? Hey, Wendy, how's it going?
Good. Sorry, I literally just woke up.
Oh, that's all right. We'll forgive you. We hadn't started anyways. We were just talking about how this morning when we woke up, we had poo all over our house. So we have 2 rugs in our living room. We have a kind of a shaggy one, and then we have a flat one over top. And so, and underlay, those are all now out in the garbage. So we have
Oh no.
area rugs, and yeah, it was like, I don't know, it may be Peanut because she's getting old and forgetting. I'm not too sure exactly who it was. Usually I can tell from looking at it or smelling it. It smells like Peanut, but doesn't look like it. Isn't this a nice topic? Let's
Oh,
talk
but isn't it
about
funny
poo.
how when you have a dog, you spend a lot of time talking about
About
poop.
poo, yeah.
We're aware
know.
of this. Sometimes it's, oh, what a good poop. Like, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a constant conversation. When
Yeah.
Chobi was late in her illness, like we had poo cleanup every day. We are
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
used to that.
Yeah.
It was part of the taking care of the dog.
Yeah.
It was, not the most fun part.
Nope.
I remember that time you stepped in it with your slippers on. It was like poo stamps all over the
all
house.
over the
It's
house.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Well,
What are you doing?
we've got some upstairs because I think it was Joya pooped upstairs, and I hadn't realized it was there. And then this morning when we were cleaning up the poop, and I was saying, who pooped all over the house? Who did it? And everybody's scattering because they don't want to be the one getting in trouble. So then they came
know.
upstairs and walked all over it and dragged it all over. And of course, it's carpet upstairs. I wish I was rich enough to be able to get rid of all the carpet and replace it, but we're not. So never mind.
We've done that. All the carpet's out.
Yeah, and except for the area rugs. And is Joya with you till she has the puppies now? Is she?
No, just till Monday. She'll honeymoon tomorrow and Monday, and then
okay.
Her mom's in Mexico. But one of our other guardian families who has a retired girl, they're really good friends and they share care back and forth. So
Mhm.
she lives in Nanaimo and she's driving up to pick Joya up, and then Joya will be there till just about the end of November when Joya's mom comes home, and then she'll come up here the week before Christmas because she's due
Mhm.
now on Boxing Day instead of Christmas Day. So she'll have them on
Right.
Christmas Day, I'm sure.
Of course.
It always happens. And then Raven, I expect is going to probably be 3 days behind that. I mean, maybe Raven will end up being due on New Year's Eve. So whatever. It is
Yeah,
what
you're going to have a house full. Well, the negotiated, I mean, we still have to sell our house, but our possession date right now is Jan 20th. You know, we're at the beginning. We put in an offer we haven't heard. So we'll be there, Claire. I'll be there for puppies. You'll have to give us all the rules, but yep.
we'll start training tomorrow.
Yep, there you go.
All right. Well, first thing we want to do is go over the contract. Usually the questions and any sort of confusion that arises comes from the schedule that has all the vaccinations in it.
Mhm.
So what I always say is take that part of your contract with you or make a copy of it for your vet.
Mhm.
So that they understand that there's no point in preaching to you because you're going to void your health warranty that you've paid for if
Mhm.
you don't follow the protocol. And they can tell you that your breeder's an idiot and doesn't know what she's talking about. And you can just nod and say, I know she's just the biggest fool, but just smile and say, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah,
So
but we're doing it our way anyway.
Yeah.
the main reason for everything being the way it is because there is lots of empirical evidence that if you load up on all the vaccines, it makes each one less robust. And
Mhm.
if you load up on them all, it also is more likely to cause a reaction from your dog. So we don't want either of those things to happen. So that's why we separate everything. Now, I don't give my dogs anything other than the basic 4-way, which the girls had on Thursday.
Mhm.
However, I know some places, if you're going to go boarding daycare or even some group training classes, once you get past 6 months, are going to ask you for Bordetella, and some are going to ask you for rabies. Which is fine. Bordetella to me is just a waste of money, but if you need it for these things, you need it. It's more critical that the puppies have their socialization and do their group class than
Mhm.
worrying about the Bordetella.
Yeah.
So we just ask that you wait for that to be done. They got their vaccines on Thursday. Wait for that. Now, if you have to do that a couple of days early because your classes are starting, don't worry about it unduly. Bordetella is the most benign out of them all, so not a big problem. The
I didn't
rabies,
read anything about that in our puppy class. Do we need that?
We'll double check.
Yeah.
We'll double check that.
Yeah.
yeah, most, it's sort of a 50-50 thing whether they need it or not. There's
Right.
lots of thought that puppies who get it at this young age, it doesn't impact them anyways. They still have all their maternal antibodies floating around as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
For the rabies, we really, really ask that you wait for 6 months and preferably not till they're over a year. It is the one that is the hardest and is the highest risk for
Right.
a
Yeah.
reaction. If you can let them get their immune system stronger and wait for a year, then that's ideal. My dogs are not vaccinated against rabies. This is completely a personal choice thing. Is there rabies in Canada? Yes, of course there is. Is there much? No. So it's kind of up to you how you
Mhm.
personally feel about the risk versus reward. And if you're planning on traveling with your dog, like you were mentioning, Wendy, that you wanted to do, and I think you decided you're going to leave Pom Pom with Taylor when you go home in
Yep.
April, right? Yeah. And I think that overall that's a better decision just because of Pom Pom's age. Traveling from Vancouver to Taiwan is a major undertaking. And I can tell you from experience, when you travel internationally with dogs, dealing with SIFA is an incredible headache. One time we had a dog going to England, and on the form it says no, all block letter. No, sorry, no block letters, so no capital letters. And my vet put one letter in capitals and then the rest in lowercase. And it was his name, not anything of any vital importance. They refused the dog. So the dog was in Vancouver. So Reynold had to go take the helicopter over to Vancouver, grab the dog, take the seaplane back, run up to the vet, get the paperwork done again, take the seaplane back with the dog, and then the helicopter home. I wasn't very happy.
No kidding.
So this happens quite often. We've had lots of people traveling internationally with their dogs, and they think, oh yeah, it's all not too bad, and they've run into a problem here or there. It's a bit of a pain. It can be done. Obviously, we've sent dogs all over the world. I've never sent one to Taiwan, but I did send one to Hong Kong. And I have sent one to mainland China, and is all fine. Those ones went off without a hitch. But it is a bit of a headache. Now, if you're traveling back and forth across the border to the US, if we ever are friends with them again, they maybe are going to close the border soon because they're so mad right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For that, you have to have rabies to get back into Canada, but you cannot take your dog into the US prior to them being 6 months old now. So that is the rule for that is currently in place. So with the shots, they don't have their full immunity. So what happens is when they're born, they have maternal antibodies. If we were living in a perfect world and if we were in Scandinavia, we would not be vaccinating the puppies until they were 6 months old because those maternal antibodies stay in place. However, in North American culture, that's not accepted. So what we've done now by giving them their first set of shots is we've got antibodies, the vaccine, and really they're negating one another. They're having an argument with each other and they've just wiped each other out. So your puppy has, in essence, no protection at the moment. When they get their next set of shots in 4 weeks, they've got this much protection. When they get their third set, they're here. And then 10 days after that, they've got their immunity. Now, sometimes the vaccines and mom's antibodies just keep fighting because the antibodies are so strong. And that's why we ask that when your puppy is 20 weeks old, that you get a titer test. The titer test just needs to be for parvo and distemper. If they have immunity to those two things, everything else will be in place. It should cost you, on the mainland, it should cost you around maybe $150 to about $175. Once you guys move over to the island, then it will cost you about 110. And then you'll get a report back that says yes or no that they have their immunity. 99 times out of 100, it'll all be fine. I have one dog that was a breeding prospect. She always shows up as having no immunity to distemper. We've all decided that she probably does. It just doesn't show up. But I removed her from I never used her at all. She's still a baby. We just took her out of the program just out of an abundance of caution. And then after that, you only do a titer test once every 3 years. And I can tell you, I have never, out of all the dogs I've owned, ever needed to give anybody a booster for anything.
Okay.
So chances are you'll never have to give them a vaccine again.
Encouraging.
And then just the other thing in the contract, and then leptospirosis, your vet will probably, that will be one of the ones that they really push. The reason for that is liability. Leptospirosis is something you and I can get from our dogs. If you get it, it's like having the flu. You're not going to drop dead or anything like that. My dogs are exposed to lepto daily. It is everywhere. It is far less in urban environments and far more in a more rural environment like I'm in. where my dogs walk, there is definitely lepto. All 4 of them went yesterday. There's puddles. They drank out of it. Do I give them anything? No.
No.
One of the benefits of the raw fed diet is a better immune system all the ways around. So I don't worry about it personally, but again, this is a completely personal choice. Leptospirosis used to be as risky as rabies. It's not the vaccine, it's the medium. However, they have improved that somewhat. It is still a fairly high risk vaccine. And when I say high risk, I mean it's more likely your dog is going to have a reaction, and that can range from throwing up to dying, from one end of the spectrum to the other. So again, totally a personal decision, but that's why your vet is going to be, hi, Sean. That's why your vet is going to be pushing it more than other things because of that legal liability there.
Right, right.
And the other thing your vet is going to tell you is that you should worm your dog. You do not need to worm your dog. They do not have worms. They both have clear fecals. In fact, they have beautiful poo. There's nothing in it. It's completely good. And I did take them to the other vet, and I intentionally said, oh, I don't need to see the vet that saw them when they were sick. And so I got this lovely young girl who was probably 12, I think. She might have been 13. And she said, any troubles with these puppies? Any concerns? And I said, oh, no, they had the respiratory illness when they were born, but they're fine now. And she didn't ask a single thing. So that was what I was hoping for. So there's nothing noted anywhere. On Friday, you'll get your code for your 30 days of free insurance. And you can both say quite confidently that, no, there's no pre-existing conditions. And the vet has confirmed that. And everything else will just not mention. The other thing that your vet, though, is going to be probably pushing you for is Bravecto, NexGard, Simparica. Those are the insecticides for fleas and ticks, and those are expressly prohibited.
Yep.
They fall within a vet's comfort zone, which is a 15% mortality rate. That is way outside of my comfort zone. So that's why it's prohibited. The other reason is a lot of the neurological symptoms that tend to present when you use Bravecto and the other products, they're all the same. They just have different brand names, are very similar to exercise-induced collapse, which is we refer to as EIC. And that's one of the things that I guarantee your puppy does not have. If you give your dog Bravecto and then your puppy exhibits EIC symptoms, your vet is going to say, oh, it's EIC. They're not ever going to say, oh, it's Bravecto. And it's impossible to tell, even with a necropsy, what it did come from. It is impossible for the puppies to have EIC because their parents are genetically clear. The only way you get it is if you breed a dog who's carrying EIC with a dog who's carrying EIC, or they both have EIC. Then the puppies necessarily are either carriers or have it. Neither parent has anything. Both your parents have completely clear genetic results. So that's yeah.
You would extend that really to any oral flea medication. Nothing goes in their mouth for fleas, because I'm looking for it right now. I can't remember it, and I can't believe I don't. But our dog was on Bravecto and then went to another oral, and that's just a hard no. And we're happy to have that advice. So it's not just the brands you have listed; it's no oral flea medication. End of statement. Yeah.
Now, if you travel, and again, if we ever become friends with the States again, or if you travel within Canada and you're going back east to Ontario, and I can't remember if it's the Maritimes or not, but anyways, Ontario, or if you were going south to Arizona, California, most of the states then give your dog Revolution. Revolution is still an insecticide. It's topical. Yes, it still goes in their bloodstream. However, it has a 25 plus year safety record without incident, and it protects your dog against heartworm. And Ontario and the states all have heartworm. Even the Okanagan has had some incidents of heartworm now. So if you are traveling to the Okanagan, I would suggest putting your dog on Revolution as well. Or if you have a cat, that's an outdoor cat. I don't think either of you have cats. So, but here, I think we have about, I don't know, 8 neighborhood cats who are always going through our yard. And so I've been keeping a much closer eye on my own dogs, because that's usually where fleas come from, is outdoor cats. Otherwise, you're not so likely to run into it. And again, when your dog's on a raw diet, that provides them with a natural barrier to fleas and ticks. Not 100%, but it does really help repel fleas and ticks. So we haven't picked up any fleas here, but if you ever are worried about it, you can use Revolution. Now, it's supposed to be every 30 days. If we had a dog one time who came when we had our pet resort, who had fleas, and we had to treat the dogs. So I gave it to them once a month for 3 months, and then not again for 3 months, then not again for 6, and then they haven't had it since. So even though the package says every 30 days, even if you're using it for heartworm, you don't need to give it every 30 days. Divide that by 2 and you'll still have full protection. The companies want you to buy their product. They want to be super safe, that they're covering their butts, that the product is still effective, but they're always way more effective than what they need to be. Any questions on any of that? All makes sense?
Yeah, the brand name, and again, not that it matters, because the fact is that it was oral. It was Credelio. That's what Toby was.
Yeah, that's another brand name. There's so many of them now. Rebecca was the original one, and I can tell you, when it came out, I was so excited, because when we lived in Cowichan, we had a bazillion ticks, and while BC doesn't have a high incidence of Lyme's disease, we still do have it. And so I gave all of our dogs Bravecto, and we had 2 litters, and in those 2 litters, we had half the litters had deformed puppies and serious deformities. So then that was when I first thought, this is odd.
It's different.
And so talked to the vet, and it was still fairly new, of course, so there weren't any long-term studies, but there was already some indications of issues that I think it was Pfizer who made it first. They didn't release. They just said, oh yeah, it falls within the guideline of a 25% death rate. So we didn't use that ever again. And then as time has gone on, there's been more and more and more that's come out about it. But you know, vets still sell it. And whenever you go to the vet office, I have to just go, because people are always getting it. And I have to always just say, shut up, don't say anything. All right, so that sort of leads us on to, so the puppies don't have any immunity, so how do we keep them safe? Always a really good question. So first thing is, you just have to use common sense. You don't go anywhere where there's large numbers of unknown dogs. So no dog parks. My recommendation is you never ever go to a dog park. They are, in my opinion, highly dangerous places. Generally, people go to dog parks are the ones who tend to be lazy and have dogs who don't behave well. They get to the dog park, and then they do this. And their dog runs around, and they don't do anything, and they don't interact. And I want to turn my phone on to silent because I forgot to do that, and it's too loud. There we go. So they're the type of dogs that perhaps are not vaccinated, most likely are not well socialized. If your dog's going to be in a fight, it's a pretty high chance that that's going to happen in a dog park. At the same time, some dog parks in some neighborhoods are amazing, and they do let your dog run loose if you don't have the ability to do that. So Winnie, like for you, the thing is, these guys are tiny. They do not need miles of space. They also are both absolutely excellent at coming. They both know their names. They both come. You don't even really have to ask them. You just have to go and they turn around right away. They also are big checker-ins dogs. So they wander off and then they're, oh, you're there. And they don't ever go very far away.
Yeah.
So
Toby
that's
was
just,
that way too. Yeah.
that's just a matter of keeping that up. And you will be able to let them off the leash. So Winnie, for you, it would be if you want to go to the beach or a park. And for you guys, if you move here, well, you don't need to worry. It'll be all
Got
almost
half an
all-
acre of land. There's plenty of room.
Yeah.
lots of space. So you just, so like when well, you're not going on the ferry, Taylor is, but if you were going on the ferry, I'd be telling you, you don't take them over to the pet
Right.
relief area.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
go to the pet zone on the ferry. Those kinds of things. The most dangerous place is the vet clinic, because who's at the vet clinic? Sick dogs.
Sick dogs. Yeah.
So you always want to take your puppy in their crate and bring a blanket. And when you get there, they stay in their crate. Don't let any of the other dogs in the waiting room put their nose near your puppy. You can even wait to bring your dog in till the room's available. What I do before I go into the clinic when I have babies or a pregnant mom is when I get there, I phone and say, hey, it's me. Just double checking that nobody's been in with anything contagious today. Because you can't expect them to remember, oh yeah, she's got an unvaccinated puppy with her or whatever you've got. So I just do that double check. And if it looks like the waiting room is crowded, then I just say, can you give me a text or call me when my room's ready? And then I could just walk into the room. So that's what I did yesterday with the girls. There was about maybe 5 dogs and 2 cats in the waiting room. So I just had them phone me when the room was ready. And I just walk right into the room. And then I put my own blanket on the table. Otherwise, they stay in the crate. There was a little bit of a complaining going on. People certainly knew that I was there because they were in the crate and they wanted to come out. But they did pretty well on the car. They did excellent on the car ride. Neither of them get sick. There's no drooling. Neither of them are afraid of the car. They both really enjoy car rides. When we went in the crate, it took about 10 minutes for Lola to be quiet. Pom Pom never said a word. And then on the way home, nobody said anything. Yesterday, Lola went for 3.5 hours in her crate on her own without saying a word. Pom Pom can stay in the crate all the time. And then yesterday, when I came in and they were playing around and doing stuff, twice they were both sleeping in the crate. So they already figured out, oh, I like this place. Oh, this is good. So they're both adjusting very nicely to the crate.
Good.
Otherwise, when you're out and about, you want to keep your eye out that they're not getting their faces too close to poop. It's dog poo that you really have to worry about.
Yeah.
Winnie, does your building or no, you've got your own little backyard, so you're good there. And that'll be lots and lots of room for Pom Pom to start with. But on the other hand, you don't want to not have them out and about, seeing other dogs, hearing other dogs, and people. So this morning they were out in the backyard, and Ayana, the dog who lives next door, she's a big German Shepherd with a huge bark. She saw them and and they're both and they took off, and then they went about 3 feet, turned around, and were like, oh, you're not running away. So then they came back and sat down beside me and looked at me, and I said, it's fine, you don't have to worry. Oh, okay, we're okay. yesterday, you probably, I'm sure both have seen the video where the chainsaw was going. So what I did yesterday was I put them in my puppy front pack. You
Yeah.
got one already, I know, Nikki. Put the
Yeah.
two of them in there together. We went and stood next to where the chainsaw guys were. The chainsaw guys came up and talked to them. And then I had them turn the chainsaw on or start the chainsaw right near us, and they're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
exactly.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
Just
went.
a tiny story on the poop, because oh my God, they're attracted to poop, or at least our last dog was. I remember the first time I took her for a walk down my front stairs, and it was pitch black out because we got home, it was late, and I didn't exactly see what she was doing, but she was so little that then I picked her up to carry her the rest of the way, and she already was in poop. I don't know how she found it, but instant. Like, if there is poop, these guys are poop magnets.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing how they can unearth it and step in it. And usually I find the puppies step in it if I have something, a light color on, and I
Right.
get to change because
Yeah,
someone's
yeah.
coming over or I'm going out, and then it's, it happens. It's just like when you have a baby and they always throw up on you just before you want to go out. So just use lots of common sense. Now, lots of times people think, oh, I'm going to get my dog to play with my friend's dog because my friend's dog's vaccinated. It's not so much that they're vaccinated, because as we all learned during COVID, despite the fact that I might be vaccinated, I can still be shedding the COVID virus. So it's the same for dogs. They can be totally vaccinated but shedding the virus. What you really want to do is find people you know well enough and say, hey, has your dog been to the vet, groomer, boarding clinic, dog park lately? If they have, then stay far away. If they haven't, then it's totally fine, because you want the dogs to be playing with each other. You want them to be
Yes.
having play dates. You want them to be going to puppy class. Puppy class, we don't worry about because they're all babies. You're not having a whole bunch of weirdo dogs in there. And people who go to puppy class are people who are diligent and doing the right thing. They're not people who are
Yeah.
causing problems. The other main thing to avoid is any dog that's a rescue and a recent one. When Health Canada admits a dog to the country as a rescue, and I'm having rescue in quotes because rescue organizations make way more money than I do. I wish I made money like they did. And their dogs are most of the time purchased through puppy mills. And anyone who is rescuing is actually supporting puppy mills. There are dog auctions that are held, and rescues are supplied by the auction houses. And there's puppy brokers who go and buy thousands of dogs at a time and then disperse them to different areas in the US and throughout Canada and Mexico. If you get a dog from a foreign country outside of Mexico and Canada, outside of North America, then those dogs may be legitimately rescued from the street. However, Health Canada's check consists of if this is the puppy, listens to the heart. Okay, next. That's it. If you even get that. I've imported probably 36 dogs from Europe and the US, and always have had to pay for a CFIA vet to examine them. Never once has the vet ever looked at them, and they've always been signed off as clear. Nobody's ever asked me for a single piece of paper. So that's why I say be careful. And rescues that say, oh, somebody surrendered their dog to and now they're rehoming them. Yes, if you're surrendering your dog back to your breeder, that's totally fine. There's usually a legitimate reason for it. If you're surrendering your dog to a group or the SPCA, shame on you, because you got that dog somewhere without it being a responsible, ethical breeder. So chances are that dog's got something somewhere that you don't want to run into. behavioral problems also tend to come with these types of dogs, and that's the type of dog who's going to attack your dog. So just avoid that. And that's my little, I'll get off my soapbox now. It's very frustrating. You can't say anything as a breeder publicly because people just say, oh, you're just saying that so you'll sell your dogs, which isn't actually the case. Other things, no collars or harnesses on in the house. When you're walking, always just a harness, never walking with a collar. Like I said, we used to give collars, and then I was like, why do I give you a collar when I preach to you, do not use collars on your dog? Seemed kind of stupid. Collars, especially on ALDs, wreck their fur around their neck. Part of the reason we love ALDs is the aesthetic and the fact that they're adorable and fluffy and cute. So don't wreck their hair around their neck by giving them a collar. You don't need a collar for any reason, unless you want to use it when you go out just to carry their ID information on them.
Right. Yeah.
My guardian dogs all wear a collar when they go out because they're all have GPS system on them. Just because if they happen to lose the dog, it's very expensive for them for making that mistake. So we don't want them to lose the dog. I should have them for my own dogs. The breeder never does what she tells everyone to do. But just in the house, no collar, no harness at any time because of the danger to that. Okay. In the car, it is, yeah, sure, go ahead, Woody.
I have a question. So I saw a bunch of the training videos to, educate myself. And one of the thing a lot of trainer promoted is that you have they call house line. That so when puppy reach to something dangerous, they can stop them right away, something like that. Or during teaching them, like when the door is open, that a human go first instead of puppy go first. So if we don't have, I didn't plan to use collar, but more like harmless to able to stop puppy from the bad behavior. What's your thought?
So that's a trainer who is using tools rather than training. Just like you'll see some trainers saying, oh, use a harness with a front clip so your dog doesn't pull on the leash. That's not solving any problems, and that's not teaching your puppy. And that's if you have no bond with your puppy. You don't need anything to tell your puppy to stop. These puppies are 7 weeks old. They explore everything. Every day I give them more space to explore things, including things I don't want them to get into. All I have to do is go, and they turn around right away and come back because they know me, they listen to me, they respect me. For going out the door, personally, I think that's a horrible thing to tell your puppy to wait and let you go first. There is a safety reason for that, I agree. But you can achieve that safety thing by when you're going out or you're opening the door, you teach your puppy, go to your spot, go to your mat, go to your place, whatever cue you want to use. Your puppy goes and sits on their mat and waits, and they don't go through the door because you've taught them that. Why would you have to go through the door before your puppy? Why would you eat before your dog? Why would you ever want to have that type of a relationship? I find that completely repugnant. That's a real Cesar Millan approach to training. And for me, I call that dog abuse, not dog training. And it certainly is not successful with this breed. This breed is made to love you, be loved, and have a really strong relationship. This breed is like having a kid. You're not going to tell Sean he can't go out the door before you do, other than if you're worried about traffic. And you are going to be confident you can say to Sean, wait, let mommy go check.
I usually just say, check before you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
My dogs all at the door, they all charge the door, they all leap around, they all go crazy because they feed off each other. And if you open the door and don't say anything, they all burst out and run around, and then they go, oh, where are you? But if I tell them back or wait, they know to get away from the door and to wait. So that's what you want to do. You want to actually teach your dog. And that's why I say when you get your puppy home, and it's great because you've both been in the program, you don't want to start teaching your puppy all sorts of rules and sit, stay, come, roll over, whatever you want them to do. For the first week to 10 days, all you want to do is build the bond. You want to teach your puppy they can trust you, that they respect you, and teach them that you love them. Show them. That's all you're wanting to do is show them. And because they're coming from me, where Reynold and I are their people, me way more than Reynold. I spend half my life in there with them. And I have no hesitation in telling you that either of them would die for me. And because we've got that bond. And so that's now up to you to establish that. And with puppies this young, you can do that in a week. And they'll have forgotten who I am. They'll remember me always, but they'll have completely forgotten about me within 3 days. They'll be like, oh, who? Oh, yeah. I started everything for her.
It's a bit sad.
It's very discouraging. But that's what you want to do, and that's what this breed in particular is all about. Yes, of course, they have to have proper manners. Absolutely. I'm not suggesting that you don't make them do things and have them learn things. But the first thing you got to do is get them to trust you and respect you. So you don't like wave your hand at them or say, no, no, no. That's completely not what you want to do. You want to say, oh, yay, yes, that's awesome when they do the right thing. And when they do the wrong thing, you just ignore it. Now, sometimes you're going to have to speak up. So right now, when they're biting me, I've just started saying to them, and so that they are learning, oh, she doesn't like that. Oh, or if they're on my clothes or on my pants, they love my pants. I think I was telling you that when you and Sean were here, they want to chew my pants all the time, or my shoes. They like to untie my shoes. So they're just starting to hear, they don't hear no, unless sometimes they're doing something. If it's like some disaster is about to occur, I will go, oh, no, no. That's a natural response, and that's totally fine. But their cue word is and the reason for that is because no sounds like too many other things, and is really easy to be distinguished. And I always The other thing you need to do is practice in the mirror, so you can do this. And you can do this.
Don't worry, Nikki's a natural.
Yes. Usually wives are quite good at this and have this skill because we are already trained in having to manage our spouses and their behavior.
So true.
Okay, and the other thing,
I know that look.
the puppies are used to me smiling at them like this, but someone they don't know, when you go like this, all they see is your teeth, and teeth are a danger for a dog. So
I remember that from your videos.
Yes.
Said this, but don't worry if they see your teeth. I mean, they see mine all the time because they're also making me laugh, and when we're rolling around on the floor. And that's the other thing. You need to be on the floor with them, rolling around. And you've seen the videos with them playing tug. Oh, I have another one of them playing tug with a leaf I'll put up. That you have to become
their other puppies.
Winnie, you have to become Lola. So practice complaining. And Nikki and Mike, you have to become Pom Pom. So practice being submissive. Lola is such a character, I tell you. But when we were going for our walk in the front pack, just so you're prepared, you will have to clip her in because the first thing she wants to do is get out. Whereas Pom Pom sits in the front pack, she puts her head out. She does this. She observes everything. Pom Pom is wickedly clever. Lola is smart too, but Pom Pom has everything stored in her head. She may not look like she's doing anything, but don't let her fool you. She's got everything going in there, and she remembers like you wouldn't believe. They also know when you're going to bed. We'll do that in a minute. But if you have them in their X pen, or you want them to take a nap after you've gone out in the morning, afternoon, if you're wanting to do work in your office, whatever you want to do, have a shower. They are cued by light, so they know when the light goes off, even if there's still some ambient light or a table lamp on. When the big major part of light goes off, they know, oh, that's it, she's leaving, or that's it, we're done.
Interesting.
So yeah, I do that with all of them, so it's a real easy cue to do, because we can always work by our computer screen.
Yeah.
Claire, just following up on Wendy's question. So you know that perfect puppy in 7 days. So they talk about tethering. So that would is that something that you said a lot of the things in the book, except for that they have to earn all their food. You told us very clearly, no, you got to give them meals because they're already fussy eaters in general as a breed. But for that tethering, then there would be no way to do that without them having a collar or harness on in the house.
But then you are with them, they're attached to you.
Got
they're not going to get
Got
into any
Thank
trouble
you.
because they're attached to you.
Yep,
And yes,
got it.
using the hands-free leash and having them tethered to you when you're making dinner or whatever it is you're doing is awesome. Because while they are already virtually house trained, your house is going to be new, and they are still babies, and if something is really fun, they'll just go. So having them tethered to you is a really good idea. And that all sort of ties into as well, it's sort of a natural inclination where we want to give them a whole ton of space. So you know how small their little area was where their bed was. So it's only been for the past 2 days that I've opened that up. So now they have pretty much the entire doodle den. I've blocked off where the TV is because there's cords there. And I've blocked off where the man door is because there's cords there. Otherwise, it's wide open for them now. And they're just like, oh, wow, this is fun. And so they're running around out there. Now, normally I would have them outside doing this, but it's freezing. It's not freezing cold, but it's pouring rain, and that makes them freezing cold. So they're doing it inside. That's all they need for now. So don't get too excited and let them have full run of the house to start with. It's better to have a smaller, manageable area. And you can take your X Pen and move it around. So if you're watching TV, you can block it off so they're just in wherever you watch TV. If you're getting ready in the morning, you can block off so they're maybe just in your bathroom or in your bedroom area, wherever it is you are. And don't be afraid to give them that restriction. So then as time goes on and they are more comfortable and you are, and then you can make it bigger and bigger. But generally speaking, you're not going to think, or you're not going to want to expect them to be 100% reliably house trained until they're 6 months. So, and especially if you take them somewhere to visit a friend's, they'll go to the bathroom in that house right like that because they have no idea. It's a new place and everything. So you have to be really, really vigilant with them on that. So if you do go visit, bring your X Pen or bring your hands-free leash or hang on to them, whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay.
The insurance, I would say, you'll get the code on Friday to activate that, so that you have that. Actually, I'm going to send, I'll send that to you on Friday. Please make sure you do activate it right on Friday morning so that that insurance coverage is in effect as soon as we hand them over to Taylor. We'll be doing that in the afternoon
Insurance
on
coverage?
Friday.
I'm not sure what the insurance coverage is.
No, we get 30 days, Mike. So
30 days free.
Okay.
So take that, and then because that's going to go as no pre-existing conditions. So then if you do wish to change to a different provider, that stays in effect. If you stay with Trupanion, then your rate will never change for the life of your puppy. because of a condition. And if you decide you don't want insurance, then fine, at least you've got the 30 days. My rule of thumb is if you have $10,000 and you can access that easily, put it back easily, and you're not going to be upset that you spent it, you don't need the insurance. If $10,000 is not something that you can easily come by, or it's going to annoy you that you've spent it, get the insurance. It's for on the mainland, you'll probably find it's about so North Van might be a little bit less than for you, Wenny, but roughly speaking, it's probably going to be in around the $80 a month range. And then if you move to Deep Bay, Nikki and Mike, you'll probably go down to 60-ish.
Wow.
Off the top of my head,
Okay.
it's based on the risk of being hit by a car. So
Interesting.
it's your postal code that matters, and it's also based on your breed, and it's your postal code also tells them what the average vet price is, and our vet prices are considerably lower than the mainlands.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with and Woody, for us, because when we had Shelby, we ended up with she broke a tooth and had to have a root canal, and they discovered a heart murmur. So that was $8,000. And then she had her kidney disease, and in addition to just the regular vet checkups that were with her kidney disease, at the end of life, it probably cost us $12,000, $13,000, $14,000. So I think we did not have insurance, and it didn't. I mean, it's not fun to pay $12,000 to a vet, to be clear, but we didn't hesitate. She was our baby, and so I think this time we're strongly considering the insurance. Last time we were like, no, we're self-insured, we're fine. But this time it's like it's there for those big events that you really didn't expect, in my opinion.
If you figure they're going to live to, let's say, 15, and let's say it's $80 a month, that's $14,400 in premiums. Now, the premium obviously is going to go up at some point because of inflation or whatever. But let's say you pay $15,000 in premiums. I think that's a pretty good return on that investment. The other thing that some people do because they hate insurers, I don't like them either, is they just put the money in the bank and have an account for the dog. And that way you can earn a little tiny bit of interest. I mean, right now that's probably about 1/2 of a cent or something. But you can do something with the money and have it there for them if you prefer to do that. And then if you don't need it, hey, hallelujah, and you got yourself a bonus. That's what I do for my dogs, mostly because all my dogs were breeding dogs, and for the breeding dogs, it's over $3,000 a month each for the policy. So it's a little pricey. So my most expensive bill was, well, I'll just use my own dogs, not breeding dogs, because that's not really comparable. Peanut had a cyst in a mammary gland. So that can potentially be an issue for breast cancer. And they had to sedate her to take the cyst out. So it was, well, are we going to do a mastectomy, or are we going to sedate her, take the cyst out, send it away, wait for the results, and then if we need to, come back and do the mastectomy or what? So we just did it all at the same time. She ended up having a double mastectomy because there was another cyst that was beginning in the mammary gland next to the one that was removed. So that was probably 4 years ago now, roughly 3 or 4 years ago. And I have a fairly substantial discount at the vet, and that cost me $6,800. Peanut's been quite expensive. She's had multiple skin things going on. So I'd say I'd easily spent $15,000 on Peanut. And had she been a companion dog, I would have only had to pay the deductible twice. So for me, Peanut, it would have been worth it. And you just never know. And then Spirit had her tail amputated. from that crush injury. So things can happen.
Yeah.
An emergency is pretty much $5,000 just to walk in the door these days.
Yeah.
You know, so just things to think about once you get your puppy home or between now and next week. Do a little bit of poking around on the internet.
Yeah.
If you belong to Costco has a pet insurance program. It is quite different from Trupanions. So, do either of you use AI, ChatGPT, for anything?
Not really. No.
So, Winnie, you're familiar with it. Real easy thing to do is just put in some
Just
prompts.
ask. Yep.
Yeah, and
Okay.
ask and get the right answer. And then when you do, maybe share it with Nikki. I use ChatGPT for everything.
This might be a good reason to use it. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's probably
Yeah.
some good benefits for it.
You
for
can get it
research.
for free.
Yeah.
So it doesn't cost you anything. It just takes a little while to learn how to do the prompts and to get it to really work for you. That's the learning curve, is how to prompt it. Sometimes now I feel like chat knows me better than me. And and often will say things. So I was working on something with I have one guardian who's very difficult, and so I was writing something to her, and so I was telling Chat. I said, "Oh, blah 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 blah." I was just giving Chat an outline. Oh, and it remembered who it was. And it was like, oh, yeah. And then remember, you said this and this and this. So let's build on that. And rather than the way you've got it framed, let's switch that up to this and this. And it was like way, way better. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's thanks. And it will say things like, oh, you lost rain. And then there was Stevie. It knows Stevie read. It knows everything in your life eventually.
Yeesh.
For some people, that's problematic. I find it
Like that.
I talk to it sometimes like it's a person, which some people have started romantic relationships with chat.
Oh, jeez. That's getting ridiculous.
Well, people are quite strange.
Yep.
All right, exercise. Really short amounts. 10, 15 minutes at a time. No stairs for the first year, other than if you've got like 1 or 2 patio steps out the back.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Carry them up and down the stairs. When they go for a walk, if you can vary the terrain and the surface and the speed, awesome. And hills are fine, harness only. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you take your puppy out for a walk, the first thing you want to do before you are planning to go for a walk is let them out the back to run around. Give them a good 10 minutes of running around and getting their beans out. Because if you've got a puppy who's full of life and excitement because everything is so interesting, and you clip them up and go for a leash, they're going to be all over the place. And you're going to get frustrated.
That's a good.
And
That's some good advice. Yeah. Yeah.
Let them go and be all over the place in the backyard, then bring them in, clip them up. And then on the way out, make it more of a sniffari. Let them stop. Let them smell everything other than poop. Let them stop and go over here. And don't worry if they're on this side, that side, in front of you, behind you. If you have to move the leash around, don't ask them to be walking like some perfect little angel. This is all about them and not you. This is not designed for you to get your 15 minutes of exercise in. Then when it's time to turn around, then ask them to do a little bit better behavior, and don't expect really good leash manners for a few months yet. But that's when then you're going to start say, hey, get them to make eye contact with you, pay attention. You're going to have a treat. You want them to walk a little bit closer to your own pace and not be running off and finding everything under the sun to be interested in. So just keep that in mind because they're little, they're babies. You can't ask them to focus for very long. Their attention span right now is about 3 minutes on a good day. So, Winnie and Nikki, I'm not sure if you have one, but Winnie, you've got a long line in your PSK. So if you can go for a walk somewhere where there's no traffic, using the long line is great. Let them go on the long line rather than the 6-foot leash.
Yeah.
Then once you're turning around and coming back, just roll up the long line and then use your 6-foot leash so they're a little bit closer to you. I got the coolest thing on Amazon. It's a little like a fanny pack idea, but it's made for dog training, and it has a place to put poop bags. It has a little zipper compartment, so you don't have to walk around carrying it. So you can put it in there, and it's all plastic lined and everything, so it's easy to wash out. There's a space for your cell phone. There's a clip for your keys. There's 3 clips on it for the leash, and there's a good space to store a leash. So if you're working with 2 leashes and a puppy, it's really easy to shove it in there. I used it a lot this summer because I didn't have a jacket, so I often didn't have pockets. And I kept my whistle in there as well. I use the whistle if I need to catch my dog's attention right away, or if we happen to encounter a bear or a cougar. I can also clip my bear spray can onto it. So Nikki, it's really good for that. If you guys are interested, I'll send you the link to it. But I really like it. And one thing to remember too, if it's pouring rain and you don't want to go out for 15 minutes, go out for 10, 5 even, and just let your puppy sniff, because 15 minutes of sniffing time is equivalent to 45 minutes of physical exercise, because you're exercising their brain. And for this breed, exercising the brain is far more important than the body. Okay, everybody's okay? Sleeping and alone time. So similar to the walk, when you're getting ready to put them to bed, so if you go to bed at, let's say, 11, you want to start getting ready to go to bed at 10. So we usually go to bed around 11. So at about 9:45, I go in with the puppies. First thing, and they'll be sleeping, and they'll be sleeping with you too. So I wake them up. First thing we do is we go outside. They run around a bit. They'll pee, they poop. Usually we'll do about a 10-minute little walk in the yard, out the front, whatever we're doing. And then we come in and we have playtime. And that should be the busiest and most active playtime for the day. So this is when I'm rolling on the floor, when they're pulling my hair. I do not wear my glasses. Take your glasses off. Take any jewelry off, particularly earrings, anything they can break, and don't have shoelaces. So roll around, we play tug, we play hide and seek. I throw treats around for them to find. We throw the ball. They're talkative. So this is when they start to go back and forth. So they have conversations. We do all sorts of things. And I do that for at least 45 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour. Sometimes it's an hour and 15 minutes. I wait until they start climbing on my lap to fall asleep. And as soon as they start doing that, then I pick them up, talk to them and say, you know, whatever it is you want to say to them. And into the crate they go. Right now, they only stay in the crate for about 15, 20 minutes, and I open the door. And then right now, they're choosing to stay in there and sleep in there. Sometimes they'll get out and go in their donut bed, but in the morning now when I come in, they're in the crate. So, but the door is kept open right now. Next week, it'll start closing. And they'll be on their own in the crate. So get a routine. This is a really important time when you have a routine. So you do that. Usually what I would say you would do that, you'd play when they're starting to conk out, then go in the bedroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, put them in their crate, and then you get into bed and the lights are going out. Now, I read at night. So I just have one small night light on to read by, and but the overhead light is out, and they would be used to that. And then when the light goes out entirely, they're probably already asleep. But they might prefer to have a blanket over their crate. Lola, usually I use that to get her to settle down. Pom Pom doesn't care as much. And if they wake up in the night, which they probably will, and go, ha, 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 don't immediately think, oh my gosh, I better get up, get them out. They have to go to the bathroom. They probably do not have to go to the bathroom. If you take them out, they will go to the bathroom. But dogs have a mechanism in their body. So when it's sleep time, human sleep time, their whole body goes into sort of a hibernation state, and they do not have to go to the bathroom. And that's why dogs can hold it longer than we can. I get up to pee during the night sometimes. Reynold definitely does, but the dogs don't. And the dogs can, as adults, can easily go for 12 hours without going to the bathroom. So that's just a natural thing that as the domestication has gone on, that dogs have developed as part of their natural body rhythm. So just touch the door of the crate and go, hey, it's okay. I'm right here. You're fine. It's okay. You can stick your finger in through the grate.
Joby. Yep.
Yep. Say it's all good. And they'll probably just go, oh, okay, and go back to sleep. If they don't, and the crying is amping up, okay, then maybe you got a dog that has to go to the bathroom. Then that's the only time you would want to get up and actually let them out. But that very seldom happens. So just be aware of that. For alone time, because we do want them to be alone so they're used to being alone and realize you're going to come back. Don't do that for the first 5 days, because we want to work on them learning to trust you. Once you have had them for 5 days and you feel like you've got a really good bond going on with them, then you can put them in the X pen and you step outside of the X pen. And this is going to be dependent on your puppy. Then you can go out of sight for like 10 seconds and come back. They might immediately go, I'm gonna die, help, oh Lord, what's the SPCA number?
Especially Lola.
Especially Lola. Give them 15 to 30 seconds of being worried, and then come back. Even if they're crying, come back and go, hey, I'm right here, what's the matter? Let them settle, go away again, and then just keep doing that over and over, and don't expect again for it to work miraculously immediately. And then by the time you've had them for 3 weeks, you should be able to do that and be away for an hour. Don't try this unless they're exhausted. This comes after you've worn them out. So you'll get to know their rhythm really quickly. So basically what their schedule is they wake up, they go outside, they run around, we have free time, then they get put in their room with their food. My big dogs come in, my big dogs eat, my big dogs go out, they have another short playtime, and then that's it, it's morning nap. They will sleep through till lunch, or if they're not sleeping, they wake up in their X pen and play. Then at lunch, we repeat. They sleep for the afternoon. At dinner, we repeat. They sleep until it's time to go to bed. And then in amongst there, we do stuff like we go out in the car. It's not just all play sessions. We do whatever it is we're working on that day. So today they're going to go out up to Bowser Town, and they'll go to all the shops, and everyone will go, look how cute they are. And they'll like that. So that's kind of how the routine goes. And then so you'll know, okay, this is their normal morning nap time. I'm putting them in their X pen for their nap. They never go in their crate except for at night to go to bed. They go in their X pen with their bed for nap time. And so I'm going to start walking away now. rather than having the X pen right where they can see you all the time. Where you can be out of sight and start going away. And then in about 3 weeks, you should be able to actually leave the house and leave them alone at home in the X pen for short periods of time.
Right.
And then once they're 6 months, they don't need to sleep in the crate next to your bed. They'll tell you when they've decided they're a big kid now. You'll know if you feel comfortable trusting them. Then you can just leave the crate door open at night, or you can take the door right off and let them sleep in the donut bed or in your bed, whichever one it is that you're going to do. But they'll tell you, they'll be perfect in their crate. And then all of a sudden one day they'll be, I am not going in there. And
I'm done with this. Yeah.
I'm not a baby anymore. What do you think, you foolish idiot? They do tell you how stupid you are quite often.
Yeah, we know.
We know all about that.
So and at about 6 months as well, you don't need to leave them in an X pen when you go out. You can also leave them in a room, but I would not leave them. I would not be comfortable leaving them in a room, like say your laundry room or whatever, until they're 6 months and they've got their adult teeth, because they're always teething and they'll chew your baseboards, they'll chew your cupboard, whatever it is you don't want them to chew is what they'll chew on. So just keep that in mind. And don't forget, roll up all your area rugs and your mats. They tend to be hot dogs. So at night in your bedroom, if you prefer a warm bedroom, then you may need to have a fan in front of their crate. They are currently used to sleeping at 19 degrees at night. And so if that's about what your bedroom is, they'll be fine by that. If you've got a specific spot that you want them to pee in the yard, when you wake them up, you pick them up, or when you're taking them out, pick them up, take them directly to that spot, have them on that spot. And both of them, sometimes when they poop, so they'll poop and you'll think, oh, that's good. They usually poop again. So they'll do one poop, run around for a bit, and then they'll come back and do another poop. So don't be fooled and think that it's all done with. The other thing is make sure you regularly, Ripple, are you here? Ripple, can you come here for a minute? Come here, you have to be the demo dog. Come here. Make sure you're regularly checking. Oh, when they come in, pick their tail up.
Yep.
Look under their bum and make sure, say hi. Make sure there's no poop still attached to their bum, because
No Klingons.
because their bums are so hairy. Sometimes the poop sticks on there and it can build up and then they can't poop. So usually when somebody, thank you. Usually when somebody emails me and says, oh my gosh, my dog's constipated, they're not constipated. They just can't poop because there's poop been built up under their tail. When you take them in for their first grooming appointment, which you should book for around the time they're 3 months old, you want to get their eyes cut out, or trimmed rather, not their eyes cut out, and a sani done under their tail so that the hair is removed from under their tail, and that helps to keep the hair from sticking on their bones. I think that's everything. Oh, and the other thing you might want to do is you might want to put pee pads by the door that you're using, so that if you happen to miss a cue, or you're on the phone, or you're going to the bathroom and they have to go out, there's a pee pad there and they use the pee pad. There's nothing wrong with using the pee pad. Don't try to groom them yourselves, especially around their eyes. They're very wiggly. I will trim their eyes before they go home. It's very easy to poke their eyes out. And right now, Joya is here, and Joya's guardian groomed her. I won't say anything else. Do not groom your own dog. Unless you're going to go and take a professional grooming course, you will be very sad. Usually if somebody phones me crying, it's because the groomer poodled their doodle or they tried it themselves and the poor dog is a disaster. Do remember though to brush and comb your dog every day, especially at the beginning. Wait for 3 days after they've been there. Especially their beards, which is what you have to do the most often, and make it something that's enjoyable. So at night, after you've had dinner, if you watch TV, watch movies, whatever you do in the evening, have them on your lap and just get going. And when you're doing the Ripple, can I borrow you again? When you're doing their face hair, Ripple, can I borrow you again? Thank you. Can you help up? Thank you. When you're doing their face hair, it's just like when you're combing your own hair. Well, not so much you, Meg. When you're pulling
Well,
through
I
here,
combed this.
yes, it hurts when you're combing through here. So hold the hair up here and then start at the bottom to get the knots out. And when you're brushing and combing them, you do what's called line brushing. So you usually you start at the other end and you do just a section, part their hair down to their skin, brush, next section, brush, next section, brush. So when you're completely finished, you want to be able to take your comb and run it all over your dog's body and not run into any barriers. And you'll know.
Do we have the right comb?
Everything.
With the right comb, but not the right brush. We have to get a new brush.
Yeah.
Okay, for feeding them. So they eat 3 times a day. Whatever schedule you want to put them on for timing is fine. Right now, they eat breakfast around 7:30, as late as 8, if we have to clean up poo or something. They have lunch around 12:30 or 1, and they have dinner anywhere between 5 and 6. If the baseball game is on, it's 6. If I'm really organized, I will feed them at 5 before the baseball game starts. Anywhere that fits your schedule. It doesn't really matter what the times are, just whatever fits into your day, and 3 times. And you're going to
So is that just?
Yep.
Is that just for the puppies, or do you like? We fed our dog 3 times a day because they gave them lunch at daycare. So through her adult life, whatever her allocation of food was, she had it divided in 3. With your adult dogs, are they 3 or 2?
They're 2.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to do 3, it's totally fine. I mean, it's completely up to you. Most dogs will tell you at around 4 or 5 months of age that they're not interested in eating lunch. And they'll stop eating their lunch. You'll get all of this starting next week. You'll get a series of emails that's all about feeding raw food, how to use what you're going to find in your food box. There's going to be a whole list of different foods and how to use them. You're not going to get all of those in your food box. First of all, they eat almost nothing, so there's not a lot in your food box. And they're just not using that many different brands right now. But it's there so that when they get older and you start giving them more different brands, that you know how everything works and the pluses and minuses of each one and how to use them all. Everything that's in there you can access readily anywhere, other than the Puppy Love freeze dried, which you would get through Curated Canines. They had Puppy Love yesterday for the first time, and at first they were like, "Oh yeah," and then they left some of it. So the one thing that I really wanted them to eat, they hate. So fine. And the one thing I thought they probably wouldn't like, they love. So typical. Anyways, stupid dogs. It's always that way. You know, whatever you get masses of thinking, oh yeah, they liked it. Now they'll eat all of that. And then they go, no, I don't really care for that. And this is one thing too. When they tell you they don't like something, it's really important to, at this age, you have to honor their wishes because it's really important they eat. Once they're a little bit older, and especially once they're over 4 months, you don't put up with that nonsense anymore. This is what I made for you. You don't like it? it goes in the fridge. You get absolutely nothing
Nothing
until
else.
the
Yeah.
next meal. And there you are, you get it again. Oh, still don't like it? It's gone.
Back in the fridge. Yep.
And the only time you get concerned when they're under a year is if they refuse 4 meals in a row. Then you get in touch with me and we'll figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Otherwise they'll have you wrapped around their little paws. The only thing they'll be eating is bonbons. You know, and they'll look at you. Oh,
Yeah, they'll give us the
how
look.
could you
Yeah.
do that? Oh my goodness.
The big sad guilt look eyes. Yeah.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
"Oh, see how cute I am? Of course you want to give me just treats. Yes, they're very, very manipulative. Remember, as soon as
Yes. So was
soon
ours.
as they're in your arms, they will have begun training you.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
don't forget how smart they are. The one thing that usually I tell everybody at this point is they've never had any grains and they should never have any grains. These puppies they've had sorghum. The freeze-dried American food that they absolutely love has sorghum in it. Are they going to die? No. Do I prefer that they don't eat grains? Yes.
Yeah.
This one is not particularly high. It's not a huge amount, and sorghum is not as heavily sprayed of a crop as other cereal type crops are. So yeah, it's fine. Are you going to keep feeding this brand? No, this is a
No.
puppy formula. And you can move off of it. I fed it to my dogs too, not the puppy one, the adult version, to see how everybody did with sorghum, because none of my dogs have ever had any grains in their lives, and they're all fine. You'd never know. Nothing's happened. Nobody's got dry skin. Nobody's got bad poo. Nobody threw up. Nothing, and they all seem to really be fond of it. So okay, fine. It's not one that I'm going to use regularly because it's American. So not only do I have no desire to buy anything American, I also would prefer to have some money, and American dog food is way more expensive than Canadian. The Puppy Love product is way better. I much prefer it, but quite often with these little puppies, the petites, they don't really get on to Puppy Love until they're somewhere between 4 and 6 months. So we'll just work towards that.
How about the dog feeds and the treats from the puppy loves? Do you like, is that only about the food or also including the treats?
Yeah, including the treats too. They will eat, they love the Puppy Love beef liver.
Okay.
So most of the treats that you're going to get will be from a company in BC that's called Kettlecraft, because they're soft. So it's super easy for you to take a little tiny treat and break that into 3. One thing to remember when you're working with them is you don't give them the whole treat. Otherwise, they'll be full and they won't eat dinner. You just give them about a quarter of the size of your baby fingernail. It's just a smidge, just a little taste is all you need to give them. I don't know if you've ever watched a dog show, but in dog shows, when you're handling your dog, you're constantly treating them, and you're always using the treat to get them to have expression, to look up, to do whatever it is you're doing to get them to place. And we only use just the most infinitesimal amount. Sometimes it's just I just put my finger in my treat bag, which would have a moist liver treat, and the dog would just lick it. Or I just put it on the roof of the dog's mouth when I was showing, so that they weren't going to be fat and only just eating treats. So just remember, you only need a tiny, tiny little bit. Same when you go to puppy class, you'll be using treats out the yin yang. Your food box will have a lot of treats in it. For that purpose, but you do not need to be giving them a whole treat ever. It's just not necessary, especially when they're really little like these guys.
On the treats, the question of treats, I know that you had said smack is not a balanced meal. Would you consider smack as a treat? It's so easy to break up. Is that, or would you just say stay away from smack?
Miss All must be here. I would say that generally speaking, they would consider that to be a very low value treat and likely
Okay.
probably wouldn't even eat it. Um,
Okay.
but yes, it's totally fine for that. It's also totally fine to put like 2 or 3 pieces on top of their food when they're older to provide some crunch if you want to do something different. Dogs are aware of texture, and sometimes I find with my dogs, if I'm trying something new, like I always try everything out with my dogs first. They're the guinea pigs. If they kind of go, it's usually the texture. So
Mhm.
RDBK is a food that I really like. It's a good food. It's made in Vancouver. The people who own it, it's a female-owned company, and they're amazing, very, very ethical, and very committed to their customers. But it's very fine ground. It's like mush. And yeah, they'll eat it. But some of my dogs will go, and it's not their favorite thing to eat.
Mhm.
Usually, whatever is the worst food, the one I don't want them to eat, that's the one they like the best. As always, just like if you want your kid
Similar
to
to
eat
my
broccoli.
son.
Yes, exactly.
McDonald's, yeah. Going to McDonald's.
Yeah. Pizza.
Fries every weekend.
All,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
kids, all the time. I know. It's like, why does everybody like McDonald's? I'm probably the only person in the world who's never had a Big Mac. But anyway, Rena will tell you I am the most difficult person to feed. So um, one thing to keep in mind is the myths around bacteria and raw dog food. So the freeze drying process removes bacteria. So nothing to worry about with it. The frozen raw, the frozen raw that we're telling you is approved and offering as an okay choice for your dogs is made by companies who use a process called HPP, which is high pressure pasteurization. And basically, what that does is it removes all the bacteria from the food. Unfortunately, it also removes all the good bacteria. So that's why your dogs also get probiotics, is because all the good stuff's been taken out as well as the bad stuff. So when you open a package of the frozen raw dog food, there is no bacteria in it. And as long as you handle it just like you do your own food, you wash your hands, you don't eat it yourself, you wash their
Mhm.
bowls, you don't use a spoon and then eat your own dinner with that spoon, you'll be totally fine. It doesn't matter if you're immune compromised, 100 years old, or you're just born. Um, I've fed raw food now for 45 years, and I have had many, many people who are completely immune compromised, people with cancer, babies, and no, but nothing has ever happened to anybody. I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen the Canadian, what do they call the national food thing about salmonella. Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
I think I put it on our
Yes.
website. So there is concurrently a salmonella alert, a warning, recall for pistachios.
Yep.
Hundreds
I've
of
heard of
millions
that.
of
Yep.
different kinds of pistachios. So for whatever reason, Health Canada said, oh, yeah, it's these puppy love treats that are in common. Well, there's 7 people who went to the hospital. There's 32 cases that were reported. Out of that, 6 people used puppy love treats. And out of those 6, 2 products came back that had the strain that seems to be causing the problem. But Health Canada hasn't told us what are the other things that these people have in common. And just because they had puppy love doesn't mean that was the cause. They could have had
Mhm.
cotton towels from Timbuktu, and really it was the cotton towels. Or maybe they were all eating pistachios. I don't know. So you have to take these things in with a grain of salt. And it's not the dogs who got sick, it's the people. And the reason the people got sick was because they fed their dog a dog treat and then put their finger in their mouth or up their nose or in their eyes or whatever they did with their finger or ate,
Mhm.
and didn't wash their hands first. So it doesn't matter if it's a treat, a bone, freeze-dried food or raw food, you do it just like if you were preparing raw chicken for yourself. None of us eat raw chicken, hopefully. And we all know what we do with chicken, and we know how we clean off our boards and our utensils
Oh,
and
yeah.
our filters. So it's exactly the same thing. So it's a bit of a myth about all this. Oh my God, you're going to feed your dog raw food, you're all going to die, and bacteria is going to be everywhere. If you took a raw chicken, frozen dog food, and chicken breast from the grocery store, chicken breast is crawling with bacteria because you're going to cook it. The raw frozen dog food will not have any because it's gone through HPP. If you're getting quality food, yes, some of them will have some. So just to keep that in mind, your vet will probably go on and on about how your
Yes.
dog's going to die, you're going to die, your child's going to die. Everyone's going to be sick. And again, it's a liability issue for your vet. Vets do not go to school to learn health. Vets go to school to learn sickness and how to deal with it. Vets, just like doctors, your regular doctor doesn't learn how to be a dietitian. A dietitian does, a nutritionist does. So vets know zippity doo dah day about nutrition for dogs. Some vets will say, oh, yes, that's true. Some vets will not. So just nod and say, oh, thank you very much. I'll take that into consideration. Don't argue with them. It's not worth it. Just nod and carry on. We've had puppies for 44 years and humans with 44 years and nobody's died. In fact, we had one guardian who had a 2-year-old and they were feeding raw food. And the 2-year-old got sick and they went to emergency and the kid had salmonella. And the ER doctor, they went through all the protocols and said, oh my God, it's because the kid must have either eaten or put their hands into the raw food, and that's how come they're sick. So just coincidentally, they had chicken for dinner that night. So we got their chicken tested and we got the raw food tested. Guess where the salmonella was?
Yep.
It was their chicken, not the dog food. So we took that to the ER doctor and said, hi. And he was amazed. He was like flabbergasted. He couldn't believe it. And he now feeds his dog raw and gets it from Curated Canines. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
It's just a matter of education and, people, everything on the internet, half of which is fake. And now there's AI generated videos as well as AI generated everything. AI I really like it, but I also recognize how problematic it is. Oh, you're a wet dog. It must be pouring outside. Oh, you stink. Oh, yes. Hi. You. For your food box, there'll be all the directions. Everything will be in it. Their food, their treats, their bones, things for them to chew on, and their supplements as well. If you want, they can be 100% freeze dried. You don't have to use frozen raw. I would recommend you don't move to that until they're 4 to 6 months old. You'll get a lot of pushback from them. All the dogs prefer the frozen raw to the freeze dried. And what I recommend for everybody is you do a freeze dried meal, a raw meal, a mix of freeze dried and raw, a freeze dried. That's how I do it. Unless you're traveling or something, and then you can do freeze dried forever. I mean, there's times when my dogs just get freeze dried several times in a row because I've forgotten to take it out or I'm busy or whatever on earth it is. You do not need to brush their teeth. Raw fed dogs don't get the buildup of plaque. And as long as they're eating bones, the bones are their toothbrushes.
Are they? Okay.
Chicken feet are the best toothbrushes. They're too little for chicken feet. They're eating chicken wingtips right now. They love them. Do not worry if they take their wingtip and go and the whole thing goes down. Do not worry if they do that and go and throw it up and then eat it. Don't be grossed out. This is a gross thing that dogs do. Dogs do eat vomit. Just walk away, don't look. You'll get used to it. Um, I still look away and I just go, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
What happens if they swallow it whole? When they swallow it whole, because they're raw fed, their stomachs are naturally acidic. Their stomachs are so acidic that they could probably dissolve a nail. But the bone just disintegrates in their body. So there's no concern about a blockage. Because the bone is raw, there's no sharpness, there's no problem with it piercing things. So that's why it doesn't matter if it's chicken, pork, lamb, whatever it is. Raw bones are soft, in a manner of speaking. Comparatively speaking, they don't splinter. We start puppies off on chicken because chicken has the softest bones and they're also smaller. So I haven't given them a neck yet. These guys are too small. I will probably put some necks in your food box. You can just keep them in your freezer, and I'd give them a month. I would like them to be closer to 8 pounds before they have a neck, and a few more teeth. They have most of their teeth in, but they don't have all their teeth yet. And what you can do when you feed them a neck, because the neck is bigger and they will probably gag and puke it up, you can just hold one end so that they remember to go, because that's what you want them to do, because that's how their teeth get brushed. If they just go and gulping it all down, we're not getting too much of a brushing action there. And then you can start with the feet when they're about about 8 months, 8 to 10 months old. You can start introducing the feet to them. And the reason why there is a list of approved foods is just like kibble, the bag may say complete and balanced, but that's usually not entirely accurate. There's no regulations over dog food at all. They don't have to put anything on the label if they don't want to, and they can say whatever they want. And then some brands use synthetics, so they use a synthetic cocktail to make their food complete and balanced. And that synthetic cocktail is the vitamins and the minerals. So there's a lot of research going on right now, and there's a fairly strong suggestion that for some dogs, this synthetic cocktail actually blocks their ability to absorb any of the micronutrients. And for some dogs, especially ALDs, it ends up causing skin issues, ear infections in particular, biting the feet is what we see in the ALDs. So I'll start them off and give them a variety and expose them to that cocktail, because just like with people, you want to expose them to more things so that the chance of allergy is diminished. And then if you find in 3 months, 5 months, oh, we've had 2 ear infections, then you'll tell me and we'll go back and we'll adjust that and we'll eliminate some brands and make some changes. Some dogs as well have problems I'm talking about ALDs now, with high glycemic index for the fruits and vegetables that are in the food. Carrots and apples tend to be in every single raw brand because they're cheap and they're always readily available. And for some dogs, that becomes problematic. And so instead, what you have to do is switch out to giving them pure proteins, buying the vegetables separately that are just green and putting those in. It's a bit more work, but for some dogs, that's just what they need to do. That's what I do for Peanut. Peanut's my problem dog, tell you. And I'm sure she's the one who pooed everywhere. She's also the sweetest dog ever. So that's just something to keep in mind. For the puppy love, there's beets and carrots in it, both of which have high glycemic index, but it doesn't seem to impact anybody. I can take a dog who's had reoccurring ear problems and I can put them onto puppy love once I get them sorted out, and we're all good to go. Some dogs have environmental sensitivities, so you can find sometimes in the spring and the fall that they're a bit itchy or they bite their feet. Usually it's something that who knows what it might be. There's all sorts of stuff that's used. There's sprays and insecticides, there's fertilizers. And in the spring and the fall, when it rains, everything comes out of the ground, and that seems to be more problematic. And also, when they're wet, they tend to lick their paws more, and so they're ingesting it more. I have a natural supplement that I use. It's called Harmony. It's unfortunately American, but whatever. Canadians, I wish Canadians made more things. And that I just, if we have a dog with this issue, again, I do this with Peanut. I put them on that for 30 days in the spring and 30 days in the fall, and it solves that problem. One thing, if your puppy doesn't eat, then they don't eat. Do not start hand feeding them. Don't make a big production out of it.
Don't hand feed your dog.
I was just thinking about Rowan. I was just.
Yes. Well, Rowan, that's fine. She was pregnant or had baby.
Yeah.
And Rowan's mom does hand feed her. So that's
So we
what
know how
happens.
that. Yeah, exactly.
So this is their bowl. You put their food in their bowl. This isn't their bowl. This is a collar, but the food
Right,
goes
got it,
in the
got it.
bowl.
Yeah.
The bowl goes on the ground. Here you go, dog. And then when you're feeding them, I don't make any eye contact. I just stand over here. That's usually when I look through my phone. If you see me posting something on Facebook or answering and the spelling is atrocious, that's when I've done it. And that's what I do. And I just don't look. I just look out of the corner of my eye. If they haven't finished whatever's in their bowl in 10 minutes, it gets picked up and put away. And that's the end of that. So today is their first day on a 3-day eat it, lose it routine. So by the time they come to you, they'll be used to that. Don't have to give you any travel trips because you're not traveling. Finally, try to keep your house very nice and as calm as possible for the first 3 days. No visitors or very limited visitors if possible. Let them get used to you. Let them get used to your routine. Try to alternate who feeds them, who takes them out, because that really helps them to bond equally with all of you. These guys are really good. They'll listen to Reynold as well as they listen to me. They're used to both of us taking them out, but I can tell you they'll pick me over him because I'm the one who always feeds them. So I'm the star. And yeah, and that's it. Unless you guys have got any more questions, anything that I didn't cover.
I just have a quick question. In the contract, you have two things that I'm curious about. Totally, absolutely willing to follow: the martingale collar and the retractable leash. And the martingale only because on our first dog, that was what they insisted on for training, and I actually just found the collar, and we'll get rid of it. But can you just give a little bit about why those two are no-go?
Sure. Martingale, again, is a tool that teaches, that doesn't teach your dog to do anything. It goes on your dog. It's a choke chain dressed up to look so less choke chainy. Your puppy's trachea is extremely fragile, just like your puppy's bones don't touch. So that's why they're so floppy, because their elbows, their wrists, their knees, their hips, their bones are not touching. And their trachea is extremely fragile. You have a collar on a puppy and you put any pressure on it, you can completely collapse their trachea, or you can cause damage so their trachea becomes narrower. And when they're older, there are issues with swallowing. This is why also harnesses that have a chest plate or a front clip, and I always say no to, because that makes your puppy's shoulders go like this, which means their legs go like this instead of like this. So when your puppy is older, they will develop arthritis and all sorts of range of motion issues. The retractable leash. When you have a retractable leash, your puppy's walking along, and it doesn't matter if it's a collar or a harness, all of a sudden it's like that. That's a horrible thing to do to your dog. It also is the #1 cause of broken fingers in pet owners. It almost always, if somebody uses a retractable leash, I'll hear from them that they've got some sort of dreadful injury from using it. They're horrible cheatery things. Use your long line, use your proper leash. That's the
Okay.
reason.
We've never used one, but I just wanted to hear your point of view on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're more dangerous for people than dogs. But you know, I don't know how many times I see people and their dogs are running around on their leash. All of a sudden they're like that. That's horribly startling if you're a dog. Imagine if you're, you know, just imagine what that must be like and in your brain.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to fragment your relationship with your dog as opposed to building it. Don't be afraid to tell people no, also, by the way. If somebody wants to come and gooby gop and say, "Hoochie boo to your puppy, and your puppy is going, no, I don't really want to. Turn around, pick your puppy up, turn around and say, oh, sorry, she's just not in the mood right now. Or, oh, sorry, she's just not ready for that. If your puppy looks like it's fine, give them one of your approved treats and say, here, offer this to her, please, and then show them to go underneath or to the side, not like this on your puppy's face. But just don't be afraid to say no. I tell people no all the time. The chainsaw guys wanted to pet them, and I said no. I said, no, hands up. I said, you can stay over there and look at them, but that's it. So instead, they took pictures.
And you said harness with a chest plate, a no to a harness with a chest plate. I think we've used that for tethering the dog in the car.
Yes,
so
that's
that
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. But not for walking around. You don't want that. So it's just
Correct.
loops. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, totally fine for in the car. Did you find the booster seat?
Yep.
We got the booster.
Oh no,
seat.
it wasn't quite the same. Same brand, but not the same as yours. It's cushioned.
Oh, okay. Same thing.
Yeah.
As long as it's the same brand, then you know what it is.
Yeah.
And neither of them have any requirements in terms of like they have to look out the window or they can't look out the window. They don't care either way. They've been in all those situations now. I don't think there's anything else in particular about either of them that you need to know. Taylor will tell you. Now, Taylor, when they go to Taylor's, it's great because that means they're going somewhere entirely different for one night, and she'll let you know if anything has come up during that night with her. Because here, you know, that this is all they know. And so they do it. Whereas when they go somewhere different, it's entirely different. And they take a little while to get used to it. So going to Taylor's is always great. They'll be with, I think she'll have 7 other dogs there then. Trying to think who all is there. Anyways, there's all sorts of dogs, which is great. That gives them an opportunity to have met safe dogs and dogs that are not ALDs. That is a really important thing too. Like, great that we have the community. Don't forget to post on there to find play dates and everything, or you guys get together for play dates. You're not that far apart. But make sure as well that you take them to meet dogs who are not ALDs, because it's really easy for them to become not fearful, but hesitant around breeds that aren't ALDs. If you take them out and there's 20 different breeds of dogs, they'll always find, first of all, a doodle, then they'll find a Labradoodle, then they'll find an Australian Labradoodle, then they'll find a Van Isle Doodle. And they'll easily do that. When we used to have our reunions, the dogs would all come out, they would find their litter mates, and that would be who they would go and hang out with, is in their own little litter group, and they would prefer that to anybody else. So
very cool. Yeah,
they're very. I think that might be systemic racism. You know. I tell you one thing though, the dogs, even before they open their eyes or their ears, let's say we have a litter and there's 2 black and white dogs, two brown dogs, and 2 red dogs. The black and white dogs will hang out, the red dogs will, and the black ones. So color must have a scent, because that's the only way they would be able to distinguish themselves. And every litter I've had in 45 years, this happens. And they always do that. Well, other than when I had border collies and they all look the same. But when I had red border collies, they would be separate from the black ones. So maybe there's something basic about systemic racism that we don't know that our dogs can do. We all smell different.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's it. That's it for today. You'll start getting your
Okay.
food box stuff next week.
Excellent. Yeah.
We didn't do the video yesterday because Reynold was away for the day, so we'll get to it. Don't worry, it just might not be today.
Thank you so much for posting the little snippets. They're such fun.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'll put the other one up with the leaf tomorrow. I'll probably do it tomorrow. We got a whole bunch of stuff happening today.
Speaking of the shorts, can I have a copy of the video so I can share with my families in Taiwan?
Yes. Are they on the YouTube channel?
They are. Are they so the ones on the Facebooks are the part that my mom doesn't use Facebook, so that's the part it's harder to share. And those are the cute ones.
Yes.
So that's the reason.
Yeah, you can just take them right off of the off of Facebook and save
okay,
them
I just
yourself.
need a permission.
Oh yes, of course you have. Yeah, no, nothing's restricted. No, I won't sue you, I promise.
Thanks.
All right.
Oh, I see the one with the leaf. I'm looking at it now. The leaf.
Well, that's just the 8-second one. I have a longer one that I haven't put up there yet. And I have a couple of them from their very first times in the crate. So you'll know when you see those that they've graduated and moved farther along. They're doing really well in the crate. And I have to give Lola a lot of credit because she's really come a long ways. Pom Pom was already perfect. So we can't say she's improved, but Lola's really done well with getting. Oh, and the other thing we had was we put a water filtration system in, and it's right in the doodle den. There's a room off of the door, and the thing is in there. So the guys were in there, and you know those, Mike, you can tell me the name of it. I don't know what it is, like a drill, but it goes when you're doing stuff. So that was going on. They had ladders, they had all this equipment and all this. The UV light came in a great big tube, and they opened that up, and then they threw that on the floor, and then they put it in with them. I sat there. Don't cry, no running away. And then
Just
the guys kept saying, how do you get them to do that? Why are they not scared? I've never seen puppies like this. I've never seen a Van Isle Doodle before. So they were very impressed with them, and they just couldn't believe how calm and quiet and confident they were. So I was very proud of them. Yeah, they've done really well, the two of them. They're going to miss each other. You'll find probably they'll both be a little out of sorts that they're on their own when you first get them home. And then when you guys do get together for a play day, I would wait a week. They'll just be like, you're home. This is where I live. So yeah, it'll be fun. If you do that, make sure you video it and send it to me. I'd love to see it, or post it on the community group, whatever you do. All right, I'll let you guys go.
Thank you so much, Claire.
Thanks, Claire.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, and this will get posted up onto YouTube, by the way, on your playlist. It will be private, though. I'll send you the link for it.
Thanks.
Thanks.